well, inequalities and linear programming, right? So an inequation is a mathematical statement that shows two expressions are not equal but are being compared. You really have two expressions on either side of your inequality and you're basically comparing them, right? So you have all your inequality signs here. I tell students the one that's like a L, you see how this is like a L? That is less than. The other way around would obviously be greater than, right? So you have greater than or equal to, less than here, less than or equal to. Now the thing about inequations is we solve these inequalities or inequations almost the same way we solve equations except for one case. That one case is when you are at the end. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to flip your sign. So if it's less than, it changes to greater than, right? So you will see some cases here now. So question 1, solve for x where x is a real number, right? So the x you're going to solve for here would actually be a range of values for x, right? So you're solving this just like how you would solve an equation. So the first thing I'm going to do here is get rid of the brackets. So let's proceed to do that. So I'm multiplying 2 by x and 2 by 6. So 2 by x will give me 2x. And then 2 by negative 6 will give me negative 12. You have to put back your plus 3x. You have to put back your less than or equal to, and you have to put back your 8. We need to put that negative 12 on the right hand side. We could leave the 2x and the 3x on the left, right? Let's add the 2x and 3x. 2x plus 3x will give me 5x, right? And then carrying this negative 12 here. So you'll have 5x is less than or equal to 8 minus 12 will become what when it goes to the right? Plus 12, right? So 5x would be less than or equal to, at no point in time are we putting any equal signs here, and 8 plus 12 will be 20. Now the only clause for inequations is if this is a negative number at the end here. If this was negative 5, I'll have to flip this from less than or equal to greater than or equal to. But it's not, so it remains the same. So x will be less than or equal to 20 divided by 5. X would be less than or equal to 4. So this is a range of values, eh? X is a range of values less than or equal to 4. So x could be 3, x could be 2, x could be 1, x could be 0, x could be negative 1, going right back. Less than or equal to 4. X could be 4 too, eh? Because it could be equal to 4 also. So we have another inequation here that we must solve, right? We must find the range of values for x, right? So as Mia was saying, you have to get all the x's on one side and you could put all the numbers on the next, right? So points to note, and this is plus 5 here, right? Cool? And this in front here would be plus 8. Everybody good there? Step 1, bring this plus 5 here, 5x, and what it would become? Negative. Carry this plus 8 here, what it would become? Compose yourself, right? Minus x didn't go anywhere. Put back minus x first, right? Plus 5, when it goes to the left-hand side, will become what? It would become minus 5x. Excellent. And then this will be less than or equal to plus 2 didn't go anywhere, so you put back the plus 2. But you don't have to put the plus in front of it, right? And then plus 8, when it comes to the right, would become minus 8, right? So negative 1x minus 5x will give me how much x? How much x that will be? Negative 6x, right? Two signs are the same. You add, keep the sign in front of the larger number, right? Less than or equal to 2 minus 8 will give me what? Negative 6, right? 2 minus 8. What do we do here at this last step if we are to find the range of values for x? We're going to carry this minus x over here to be divided. But I told you all there's only one case that affects my inequality sign. Is this the case? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Because we are taking a negative number carried to the right to be divided, right? And this will be equal to negative 6 divided by negative 6. A negative divided by a negative would be a positive. And I want you all to look at this. Your inequality sign will change from less than or equal to greater than or equal to, right? And this will be positive. 6 divided by 6 would be 1. X is greater than or equal to 1. So what's the value that x could be? X could be what number? X could be 1. What's another number X could be? 2. What's our next number? 5 going up the road. X could be 100. Right? X is a number greater than or equal to 1. Right? So we have 2 more parts of this question where we need to solve for X. Right? So I have 4 minus X is less than or equal to 13. Right? What do I need to move here? I need to move the what? 4. When I carry 4 over here, what do I do with it? So 13, you put 13 first, right? Plus 4 becomes minus 4, right? So this will be negative X is less than or equal to 13 minus 4 will give me 9, right? But we have a negative in front of this X. What number is understood in front of this X? I give you one situation, one case that changes the inequality sign, right? When I take this negative 1, carry it to the other side and divide it, what happens to my inequality sign here? It must change, right? Wherever you see there, it have to change, right? So X would be, you can change it from this line, greater than or equal to 9 divided by negative 1. X would be greater than or equal to negative 9, right? Give me a number X could be. What's that number X could be? If it's greater than or equal to negative 9. Yeah, go ahead. So once again, if you worked it this way, if you carry the X to the next side, etc., it will be the same thing, right? So we coming down here now. Right? What do we move here? I will just move the plus 3 to the side. When I move plus 3 here, what it becomes? So this will be greater than 5 minus 3. Negative 2x will be greater than 2. When I bring negative 2 here, what do I do with it? Divide. Divide. Right? So divide by negative 2. But if I divide by a negative number, what happens to my inequality? It changes to less than. Right? So this will be X is less than positive 2 divided by negative 2 will give me negative 1. So there you go. Using a number line, show the solution to each inequality above. Right? So we're going to part, what was part 1? No, part A. It's part A. So for part A, we got X is less than or equal to 4, right? So part A, X was less than or equal to 4. So let me show you all how we draw these number lines. A part straight line, you're going to put 4. You can put 4 in the middle. It don't matter, right? Now, if it is less than or equal to, you put a shaded circle. You can't put a shaded circle on the number line itself, or you can put it above here. Either one, right? You can put it on the number line or you can put it above. And you need to indicate which direction would be less than or equal to 4. Which direction would be less than? To the left or to the right? To the left. So it could either look like this on top here, right? Or you could look like this. Everybody good there? But you have to put a shaded circle to show where 4 is, and then you have to put which direction is less than, right? A solid, but a circle that is not shaded would actually be if it was less than alone. Yeah? B. Give me B. What B was? What was the answer for B? Somebody give me. What? X is what?
1, sir.
But you gotta tell me the inequality, very important. 1 is greater than or equal to 1, right? Hit my number line. Boom. Since it is greater than, am I shading the circle or am I not shading the circle? I am shading the circle when it is greater than, right? And which direction will be greater than 1? To the left or to the right?
Right.
Right. Okay, question done. So, for x is greater than negative 9, you have your negative 9 in the middle, and you are shading the circle, right? Shading the circle. Which direction will be greater than, my children? Right. Have to put that. Then we have negative 1. Which direction would be less than? Left. But you all realize this is not less than or equal to. Right? You all see that? It's not less than or equal to. So do we shade the circle? No. Right? And you indicate which direction would be less than, which would be to the left. Everybody good? Calculate the range of values of V. Don't let this word tire up here. The range of values of V, they just wanted to solve your inequality, right? So let me go. What I'm moving here, I want to move this 5 here, and I'll bring this 2V here.
I'll bring 2V over.
Right, so let's put minus V, that not going anywhere. And then plus 2V would become what when it comes to the left? It would become minus 2V, right? And less than or equal to, what remains on the side? What did not go anywhere? Negative 1. And this plus 5 will become what when it goes to the right?
Negative 5.
So negative V minus 2V will be how much V? Negative 3V.
Negative 3V.
Is less than or equal to negative 1 minus 5 will give me negative 6. So we have a situation here where we need to take a negative number, carry to the side and divide it. Once you take a negative number to be divided, you would have to flip your sign. So this will be negative 6 divided by negative 3. What do we get V to be?
3.
Positive 3. Right? No? How do we get positive 3?
Negative
V
3
is
still?
greater than or equal to 6 divided by 3 is 2. Right?
Oh.
Right, so solve for x. Where we go in here, what we could do is you could actually carry the 5 here, and this will be 12 minus 5 is less than or equal to 3x, right? 12 minus 5 will give me what? 7. 7 is less than or equal to 3x. What do we do with the 3 when you carry it here? Divide, right? So it'll be 7 over 3 is less than or equal to x, right? So this would be 3 into 7 would be what? 2 and 1/3, right? So watch it here. If 2 and 1/3 is less than or equal to x, if I flip it around, what that means, x will be what? Greater than or equal to 2 and 1/3. Once you write it this way. So I solve for x. So you can do this way by leaving the 3x on the right. But then when you reach the last step now, if you have 2 and 1/3 is less than or equal to x, you flip the whole thing around and you'll get x is greater than or equal to 2 and 1/3. Yeah, go ahead. Next one, I'm going to carry 3x on this side, right? That plus 3x will become negative 3x. I'm going to carry negative 3 here, right? That negative 3 will become positive 3. So x didn't go anywhere. I'm going to put back x first. Positive 3x will become minus 3x less than, put back the people less than, negative 7 didn't go anywhere. I'm putting back negative 7 and negative 3 will become plus 3. Everybody good there? So x minus 3x will give me negative 2x is less than negative 7 plus 3 will give me negative 4. Everybody with me here so far? I'm going to take a negative number, carry it to the other side, and I'm going to divide. Once I divide by a negative number, what do I have to do with my inequality sign? Flip it. So x now would be greater than negative 4 divided by negative 2. X would be greater than positive 2. Everybody good there? So this 3 comes here, right? This plus 3 will become minus 3. So 2x didn't go anywhere. Yes, keep saying that. Minus 2x didn't go anywhere. Bring down the minus 2x, leave it there. Put back your less than sign. 7 was there first. Put back 7. Put 7 there. Plus 3 will become minus 3. So this will be negative 2x is less than 4. What do I do with the negative 2 when I carry there? X would be less than 4 divided by negative 2. X would be, yeah, go ahead. Very good. I'll flip my sign. See, I get carried away there. So this sign is supposed to be greater than. So x would be greater than a negative 2 for this one. So at the end here, they are saying that if x is a member of the set of whole numbers, right? Whole numbers meaning we can't know fractions, right? State the smallest values of x which satisfies the inequalities above. So give me the equality for A. What was the final answer for A? Give it to me.
2.3.
X would be what? Less than or greater than? Greater than 2 and 1/3. I work with 2 and 1/3. B. Tell me what B is. X is.
No, that one is greater than or equal.
Oh, this one is greater than or equal to. Right? And this one is what? X is what?
Greater.
Greater.
than 2, and for C, x is, let's see right here, greater than negative 2. So we're looking for the smallest possible number that x could be, right? Compose all itself. I was just asking you all every time we did an inequality above, like, what's another number x could be, right? So we'll be looking for the smallest whole number that x could be. Let's look at the first one, right? If x is greater than or equal to 2 and 1/3, what is the smallest number that x could possibly be?
2
The smallest number that x could be here would be 3. That's the smallest number. And what's the smallest number that x could be here if x is greater than 2? The smallest whole number. 3 again. X would be equal to 3. That's the smallest number it could be equal to, right? And then for this one, x is greater than negative 2. What is the next possible whole number it could be? Negative what?
1.
Negative 1, proper. Look at Leo answering in the back. Leo's 9 here. Hey, there's supposed to be food by now. I hope Pauline just watch these things and waiting for me to come and do it, eh? Or don't make me chip off, eh? So when I bring negative 8 here, what do you with it? Positive. When I bring positive 12 there, what do you with it? So let me bang it, right? Negative 4m didn't go anyway. 4m, then negative 8 will become what?
Positive.
Put back the people less than or equal to. 5 didn't go anywhere. Let's put back 5, right, Cristiano? Plus 12 will become what?
Negative.
Come on, man. We're supposed to be eating up these things now, man. Negative 4m plus 8m would be 4m less than or equal to 5 minus 12 will give me.
Negative 12.
What we bringing the 4 here and do with it? No sign and change in here because it is not negative 4, right? So m would be less than or equal to negative 7 over 4. You can leave it just so, right? Or you could write it as a mixed number, or you could put it as a decimal. But that's wasting time. If the question is requested, keep it moving. So I want you to pay close attention to what's going to happen here, the magic that's going to happen here, right? So they have 3x minus 1 is less than 11. Everything in this one here, right? So this will be 3x is less than 11 plus 1. 3x would be less than 12. Everybody good there? When I carry 3 here, what do I do with it?
You're going to divide.
So x would be less than 12 divided by 3.
So x is 4.
X is less than 4. X is not 4. X is less than 4. Let's do the other part of the question now, right? So I'm going to carry this negative 1 here. Somebody mic on. So I'm going to carry this negative 1 here. This becomes plus 1 less than or equal to 3x. This will be 3 less than or equal to 3x. What do you carry 3 here now and do with it? You are going to divide it. So this will be 3 divided by 3 is less than or equal to x. 1 is less than or equal to x, right? So I'm going to leave this answer so and I'm going to show you all why. You all see at the bottom what they're asking us to do? It's like they take the two inequalities and merge them, right? So what's something? You're seeing this, I'm going to box off this one here. I'm going to box off this part of the inequality. Watch. Box off. Box off. You're seeing that these two things or these two expressions is actually what is here in the middle. You're seeing that? And then you would have this part of the inequality on this side. You're seeing it? And then this part of the inequality on this side. You're seeing it? So the two inequalities basically came together to form one inequality. Right? Everybody seen that? You can express an inequality or a pair of inequalities like this at the bottom of your screen there. Okay? So, anytime they give you an inequality like that and they ask you to solve exactly what they did above here is what you need to do. You solve both of them separately. You'll see I got two different answers there. I got x is less than 4 and I got 1 is less than or equal to x. Right? Everybody good there? So, part 1, which is x is less than 4, is merged with 1 is less than or equal to x, and you form one fluid inequality. So that's the solution to this entire inequality here, right? So they want us to show it on the number line, but I'll first write this, right? You'll have 1 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 4. I took the two inequalities up here, which is this, and what was here before, so I'm going to erase it, watch.
I swear I had about that. I still feel the freeze.
These two inequalities here, this one here and this one here, come together to form one inequality, which I wrote underneath here. I'll have 1 is less than or equal to x, and then the same x is less than 4, right? So if I have to show this on the number line below, compose yourself, right? We are going to where 1 is. You're seeing 1 here, positive 1, right? Am I going to shade this circle to show this part of the inequality, or do I put a circle without it being shaded? I have to shade it because yours is less than or equal to, you see now there, docs? So you put a circle and you're going to shade that circle. Cool? Right? You can put it above here too. Doesn't matter. Right? Then the other part of the inequality now, which is this part. So we go into 4, right? Are we shading that circle or are we leaving it solid? We are leaving it, well, without it being shaded. Boom, right? So my inequality would actually be the range of values that are in between here, right? So let's write that a little better. So this coming in here, this coming in here. Okay, that would be my range of values. Is everyone clear? So given that x is a real number, solve the inequality, right? So from this inequality, you would get two inequalities. So I'm branching off here. Boom, bang. So you would get -7 is less than 3x plus 5. That's one inequality. And the next one you would get is the same 3x plus 5 is less than or equal to 7. This is what you get, docs?
Yeah.
So let me go. Branch off into 2, right? So we go in. What do I do here? What am I moving here? I'm going to move the positive 5 here. What will it become? -5. So negative, I want to put the 7 first. Yeah, let me put the 7 first. So -7 minus 5 would be less than 3x. -7 minus 5 will give me what? -12 is less than 3x. When I carry the 3 here, what do I do with it? So this is less than x. So what is less than x on the left here? That will be -4. -4
Take it scroll up a little bit, please.
is less than x. Sure. The 5. When we carry the 5 here, what we do with it? So 7 minus 5, 3x would be less than or equal to 2.
2/3.
So bring the 3 here, x would be less than or equal to 2/3. So the two answers now would become one answer. Right? So it'll be -4 is less than x, and the same x is less than or equal to 2/3. Right? Pattern at -4. Solid circle, shaded circle, or unshaded circle? Unshaded. 0. Right? We go into 2/3. So as I was telling Andrew, so here would be 1/3. No, in between here, sorry. Here would be 1/3, and around here would be 2/3. Everybody agrees? 2/3. Shaded circle or unshaded circle? Shaded circle, right? And we are in between here, boom, bang. In between here would be my range of values, right? Determine all the integer determine all the integer values of x which satisfy this inequality. Right? Integer values will be the whole numbers that are positive, whole numbers that are negative, including 0. Right? So let me go. Branch off. Boom. Boom. So this is what I have been asking you all along. Right? So -1 is less than 2 minus 4x/3. That's one there, right, docs? The next side now, it'll be 2 minus 4x/3 is less than 5. This 3 is the first thing you have to move on both sides. When you carry 3 here, you do the opposite of divide, which is to multiply. Negative 1 multiplied by 3 is less than 2 minus 4x, right? Negative 1 by 3 will be negative 3 less than. Let me bring this 2 here one time now.
Yeah.
Let me bring this 2 here. This is plus 2. Plus 2 will become what when it comes here?
Negative.
Minus 2 is less than negative 4x, right? Ooh, this one a little different. So, negative 3 minus 2 would be negative 5 less than negative 4x. Yeah. Right. So, at this point here now, we're going to divide negative 4 on the right. This will be negative 5 over negative 4. And this less than changes to greater than x. Everybody good there? Negative 5 divided by negative 4 will give me positive 1 and a quarter is greater than x. Everybody good there? Proper thing? So we go on the next thing too. The next side, sorry. Fling this here. So this will be 2 minus 4x is less than 5 3s are 15. When you carry plus 2 on the side, what are you doing with it? So negative 4x would be less than 15 minus 2. Negative 4x would be less than 13. Carry negative 4 here. What are you doing with it? You're going to divide. That less than changes to greater than. Greater than 13 over negative 4. So x would be greater than negative 4 into 13 will be 3 and 1/4, right? We have to flip these two inequalities around in order to form our one inequality. So watch it there. If 1 1/4 is greater than x, this implies that x is less than 1 1/4. Everybody agrees? If 1 1/4 is greater than x, right? 1 1/4 is greater than x. That means that x is less than 1 1/4, right? So the next side is if x is greater than negative 3 and 1/4, this implies that negative 3 and 1/4 is less than x. Right? Go ahead. All right. So the two going to become one, but this is where you have to compose yourself. This is where an understanding of the topic comes in, right? You'll see negative is on the right. And so negative 3 1/4 is less than x. That is actually what goes first. Negative 3 1/4 is less than x. Right? That goes first. Followed by x is less than 1 1/4. Y'all see that? So watch. The question was not to express the inequality, right, alone. The question was above here to determine all the integer values. Integer values are whole numbers, whether it is negative or positive, right? So we started. What is the first whole number that this could be? Negative 3, because we're going in that direction, right? So negative 3, then what else? Negative 2, then negative 1, then 0, then 1. Nothing else. Right? So this is values of x. I should put possible values of x would be these values here. Right? Everybody good here? So linear programming. Lock in. Everybody lock in. Right? Linear programming is a method used to find the maximum or minimum value of a quantity subject to a given restriction. This given restriction is basically in the form of inequalities, right? So it usually involves variables, okay? Then you have objective function, right? Which is what you want to maximize or minimize, right? Whatever the objective function is what you want to maximize or minimize, right? The constraints would be the inequalities that limit the possible values, right? You will see we have to form a whole set of inequalities moving forward with these questions, right? Feasible region would be the region that is bounded by all the linear lines the linear equations that you are going to graph, right? So that is the area that we're going to shade. Which one is bounded by all of them, right? So your optimal solution will be the best value from the feasible region, right? So basically, we have some steps when you're dealing with linear programming. You first have to identify your known variables, right? Whether it is x, y, a, b, whatever you're using. form inequalities, right? You're going to see we're going to have a lot of inequalities to actually form. Write inequalities as linear equations to be able to draw constraint lines on your graph, right? Shade the feasible region. You have to shade the region which is bounded by all the lines. Find the coordinates of corner points. Substitute each point into the objective formula which will be given for most questions, and then you have to choose the greatest or smallest value for maximum or minimum according to what the question asks. Right? So these are all the steps we're going to take. A rental company has X cars and Y minivans. The company has at least 8 vehicles altogether. So you see this phrase here, at least, very important in linear programming. So if I say I have at least 8 vehicles together, what does that mean? Who can help me? Means at least means 8 or more, right? So the number of minivans is less than or equal to the number of cars. Less than or equal to, it is as straight up as it could be, right? Less than or equal to, right? The number of cars is no more than 9. So if I say go in the shop and open no more than 9 cokes, how much cokes you coming here with? You're coming with 9 or what? Less. No more than means that number or less. At least means that number or more. That is what you have to lock in. Write down 3 inequalities in terms of x and or y other than x is greater than or equal to 0, y is greater than or equal to 0 to represent this information that they just gave, right? So we're looking for 3 inequalities. Let's go with the first thing I have boxed off up here. So if I say the company has X cars and Y minivan, the company has at least 8 vehicles together. What represents cars? What represents minivans? Everybody good there? So together, all together means you're doing what? Adding. So X plus Y would be at least 8, right? So let me start with that, right? You have X plus Y. What did I tell you all? At least means more than, greater than, or equal to. Excellent, right? So X plus Y will be greater than or equal to 8. Everybody good there? So next, the number of minivans, which is represented by what? What's the number of minivans represented by? Y. So I'm putting it right here, right? So the number of minivans, which is Y, is less than or equal to, as straightforward as it will come, right? Less than or equal to the number of cars. What represents the number of cars? X proper. Second inequality. We winning or we losing? We winning, right? So let me go. We have one more to do, eh? So the number of cars, what represents the number of cars? X is no more than 5. 9, sorry. So no more than means what? Less than. So X, which represents my cars, would be less than or equal to 9. These are my 3 inequalities. Let's go. So a car can carry 4 people. One car could carry 4 people. One minivan can carry 6 people. There are at most, another phrase here that we need to look at most 60 people. At most means what? If I say we have at most 5 students here, what are you talking about? 5 or what? 5 or less. At most 60. That means 5 or less. Right? So, well, 60 is here, so to be at most 60 would be 60 or less. So there are at most 60 persons to take the, well, to be taken. This is supposed to be to be taken. So there are at most 60 persons to be taken on a tour. So they want us to show this inequality. So let me start with the car and how much people per car. So if I have 4 people per car, what can I represent that by? 4 people per car. How much a car is? What are cars represented
4x.
by? 4x, right? So it'll be 4 by x, which will be 4x, right? Plus, How many people could go in one minivan? 6. And how many minivans did we have? Well, what represents the amount of minivans? Y. So it'll be 6 multiplied by Y or just 6Y. And this will be at most. At most means less than or equal to 60. All right. Now, are you seeing anything that can be divided throughout here? What can I divide by? 2. Divide by 2. 2 could go into each one of these bad boys to simplify this inequality. So divide by 2, divide by 2, and divide by 2. 2 into 4x would give me 2x. 2 into 6y would give me 3y. Less than or equal to 2 into 60 would give me 30. A little box to indicate that it was shown. So, on the grid below, plot 4 lines associated with the inequalities in A and B. Shade and label the regions that satisfy all 4 inequalities. So I gave you all some steps this morning, right? So look at something here. So we basically dealing with these, well, linear programming is the topic here, right? So we have to identify the unknown variables, right? So let's see. What were the unknown variables here? And we did that already. Okay, everybody good there? Was X and Y. Then we had to form the inequalities. Did we form the inequalities? You all see them here? Right? Anytime you get problems with linear programming, you can come back to these steps, right? So we formed the inequalities. That's what we did. Next, I'm going to write the inequalities as linear equations to be able to draw my constraint lines on the graph, right? So let me write all 4 inequalities as equations, right? So watch it. I can't even go to that graph here, right? So I'm going to write all 4 inequalities as equations. What's the first one? The first one was what? X plus Y is equal to, not less than or equal to, is equal to what? 8. First one. Give me the next one. Y is equal to X. And next one? 9. And the last one?
2x plus 3y is equal to 30.
Right. Compose yourself, right? We did a topic before where if you have to draw a straight line, you have to take 2 situations for each equation here. You're going to take the situation where x is equal to 0, and you're going to take the situation where y is equal to 0, get the coordinates of 2 points, draw your line, right? Now these lines here, this one here, we could get that straight up, right? Y is equal to x is simply a line 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. It's a line that passes through all these points. That is y is equal to x. Meaning the value of y is equal to the value of x. The value of y is equal to the value of x. And so forth. Everybody good there? X is equal to 9 is simply a straight line. It would be a vertical line that passes through where x is 9. Right? So this is a vertical line. Everybody good there? The only 2 lines that we don't have any coordinates on would be x plus y is equal to 8 and 2x plus 3y is equal to 30. So let's work some magic here now, right? So the only points that you'll be able to get, well, not the only points, you could get other points, but the easiest points to get, right, would be when x is 0. So I'm going to put it right here. When x is equal to 0, which is the point where your line is cutting the y-axis, and we're also going to do when y is equal to 0, right? Let's get the coordinates of 2 points on this line, right? So there you go. If x is 0, this will be 0 plus y is equal to 8. So y is equal to what? Proper. So what is it? What are the coordinates of this point here? The coordinates would be 0, comma 8. We winning or we losing? Winning, by. There we go. Y is equal to 0. Let's replace y with 0. X plus 0 is equal to 8. Chiffa, we do something like this just this week in school. Right? So x plus 0 would be x is equal to 8. What are the coordinates of this point? 8, comma 0. Right? So we have the coordinates of 2 points on this line, right? This linear line. So we're going to proceed to find the coordinates of 2 points. Oh, you don't need to wait for me, no. My children, oh, you need to wait for me, no. Let me go. when x is equal to 0, and you're also going to do when y is equal to 0. So let's plug in x as 0 here. So this will be 2 by 0 plus 3 by y is equal to 30. 2 multiplied by 0 would be 0. 0 plus 3y will simply be 3y is equal to 30. What do I do with the 3 when I carry it here? I am going to divide. So y will be equal to 30 divided by 3. Y will be equal to 10. So this coordinate would read what? What would be the coordinates of this first point? Proper. Proper. 0, 10. We winning or we losing, by? So let me plug in y as 0 into that equation, right? With my name again? Sharika. We plugging in y here as 0. So watch it. I'm gonna put 2x plus 3, and instead of y, what do I put? Equals to 30. 3 multiplied by 0 would be 2x plus 0 would simply be 2x. So 2x would be equal to 30. What do I do with the 2 when I carry there? Come in. 30 divided by 2. What's this in, bro? Right? So x, yeah. So x would be equal to 15. Everybody good there? What would be the coordinates of this point here?
15, 0.
Come on, man. Come on. So you're drawing 4 lines on your graph, right? This will be the first line. 1 line, right? Plot these points. Draw your line. Label your line, right? This will be your second line, right? You can plot 2 points if you want. 1, 1 or 2, 2 or whatever. 1, 1 and 6, 6 or whatever. Draw a straight line coming through those 2 points, right? This will be another line here, right? Vertical line going through where x is 9, and this will be your last line here. So you need to plot these 2 points, boom, bang, and draw a straight line going through the points. Let's plot the points, please. Come on. So let's draw our first line, right? So the first coordinate was 0, 8. 0, 8 will be 0 on the x-axis. Look, 0 on the x-axis here. And 8 on the y. So you are actually on your y-axis. That's my first point. Then 8 on the x. Look, 8 on the x here. 0 on the y. 0 on the y will be the same line in here. So you are on your x-axis. Let me draw a straight line connecting these 2 points, right? Boom to the bang. Proper, right? Label your line, please. This will be x plus y is equal to 8. You are labeling it with the equation, not the inequality, the equation. Everybody good there? Next line was what? Y is equal to x, right? You could plot 0, 0, 0, 0s down here. And you could plot our next line. Let me plot like what? Let me plot 11, 11 or 10, 10. 10, 10 as well here. 10, 10. Connect these 2 points. Boom. Right? Boom. Everybody good there? Label it y is equal to x. We winning so far?
9.
Right? X is equal to 9 will be a vertical line passing through where x is 9, right? So we come in here. We can start from the top, come down, but you must pass through here. Right? Must pass through where x is equal to 9. So this will be x is equal to 9. Right? And the last line would be 2x plus 3y is equal to 30. We start with 0, 10. 0, 10 would be up here. 0, 10 would be up here. Right? And then 15, 0 would be on this axis. 15, 0. So I'm going to draw that line here. So let me do now. Let me label this. 2x plus what? How much y? 3y? 3y was equal to, not 60, 30. 30. Alright? Because there are many regions here. One of the things you can look at is our area where all 4 lines enclose. That's how you could know where your region is, right? Or you could go to your inequalities. This one here was 2x plus 3y is less than or equal to 30. Right. So that means it had to be under the line. Right? This one was y is less than or equal to x or greater than or equal to x. Less than, under the line. And here was x plus y is greater than or equal to 8. Right, above. And this here it was x is less than. So you know it's here, coming this way. So this here would be my shaded region, right? What is it to label it? R. So this question is saying to determine the 2 combinations for the minimum number of cars and minivans that can be used here to carry exactly 60 people, right? Now this is the formula we have here, right, Mia? But this formula cannot work because 2x plus 3y is equal to 30. So we had to revert to the original formula, which is 4x plus 6y is equal to 60. We're going to plug in a pair of coordinates, right? Or the coordinates of one point into this equation here to figure out if it really is going to be equal to 60. When I plug in 6 comma 6, well, x has 6 and y has 6, I do get the 60. So this works. This is one of the combinations, meaning 6 cars and 6 minivans can be used to carry exactly 60 people. Cool? Then we're going to try 9, 4. In reality, it's supposed to try all, but they only ask it for 2. So we try this one, we get 2. You could try 9 and 4, which is the next greater one, right? You will get, replace x with 9, replace y with 4. When you work out this, you will get 60 also. So this combination of cars and minivans can work also. So 9, 4, and 6, 6 can carry exactly 60 people. Cool. So the company charges 75 to rent a car and 90 to rent a minivan. Show that the minimum rental cost for the tour is $9.90, right? So we only have 2 combinations that work. 6 cars, 6 minivans. 9 cars, 4 minivans, right? So you're going to plug in these, right? And you're going to work them to find out, well, you're not plugging in these, right? You're going to multiply 6 by 75, 6 by 90, add them together, see what you get. Multiply 9 by 75, 4 by 90, work it out, see what you get. See which one of these combinations you actually get the least amount of money that you have to spend. So 75 by 6 plus 90 for a minivan is 6 minivans. What is working out to?
990.
990. So let me put that there, but you have to show it, so you have to work out the next one too. You have to work out the next one. So the next one would be 75, because it's $75 for a car plus $90 for the minivans. It's 4 minivans. When you work out this way again,
1,035.
so therefore, right, so they wanted to show that minimum, right, so therefore the min rental cost is $9.90. No, 990. May 2021, Mala buys 2 types of mobile phones, B-Flow and C-Flex, from a company to retail. One B-Flow mobile phone costs $60, right? While one C-Flex costs $80, right? She buys X number of B-Flow phones and Y number of C-Flex phones. Mala must not spend more than $1,200. So that means what? What are you using? Greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to? Less than. So wherever I put will be less than or equal to 1,200, right, Andrew? Write an inequality to represent the information. So let me deal with B-Flow. What's the cost of a B-Flow phone? $60. And how much B-Flow phones? What's the number of B-Flow phones? X.
X.
Plus, what's the cost of a C-Flex? and what represents the C-flex phones, the number of C-flex, y. And I'm saying don't spend no more than $1,200. So these two things together must not be more than $1,200, right? This inequality represents the information above. Now I can actually divide everybody here by 20, you know, and simplify this a little bit, right? So this will be what? This will be 6. No, this will be 3. 3x plus 4y is less than or equal to 60. That is what this inequality breaks down to be. The number of B-flow phones must be greater than or equal to the number of C-flex phones. Write down an inequality in X and Y to show this information. The easiest it will get, right? So the number of B-flow phones. What is B-flow phones represented by again? The X or the Y? Y, you sure? B is X. I say B flow is X. So X is greater than or equal to C flex, which is represented by Y. Everybody good there? Okay? So this here will be my inequality. Proper. Represent the two inequalities on the grid shown below. Label as are the region which satisfies both inequalities, right? Before you could do that, you have to establish the coordinates of 2 points on the lines, right? Now the first line, all right, let me just use this one right here. X is equal to Y. Remember, you're not using the inequality, you're using the equality in order to be able to draw the line, right? Now, if X is equal to Y, you have a million points on that you can do. 1, 1, 2, 2, etc. Right, Desha? Any one of them. Any two you plot, draw a straight line through them. Cool? Zaria, you cracking, right? Okay? Right. So, that's set. X is equal to Y, Y is equal to X. That line is the easiest line to draw. Now, the next line was what? Give me the equation for the next line. 3x
Plus 4.
is equal to, when the equality is equal to 60. We need the coordinates of 2 points on this line. Can we do when x is equal to 0 and when y is equal to 0? This gives me the coordinates of the point where the line cuts the x-axis and the coordinates of the point where the line cuts the y-axis. Right? You plug that in, you're going to find the coordinates of 2 points, plot the 2 points, draw the line. Right? So there's only 2 lines we're going to draw on the grid below. So let's work here. This will be 3 instead of x. What am I putting? 3 by?
1, 1.
3 by 2.
What's the value of x?
0.
0. Plus 4y is equal to 60. 3 multiplied by 0 would be? So this will just be 4y is equal to 60. What do we do next? Divide. Y is equal to 60 divided by 4. Y will be equal to 15?
15.
Right. So, what are the coordinates of this point here? The coordinates will be what?
0, 13.
That is the coordinate. Those are the coordinates of 1 point on the graph. Let's work on the side now. So, I'm going to put 3x plus 4 by what? What's the value of y for this one? What's 0? Equal to 60, right? 4 by 0 would give me 0. So 3x plus 0 would just be 3x. This will be equal to 60. What do I do with the 3 when I carry it here? Divide. X would be 60 divided by 3. X would be equal to 20. What are the coordinates of this point here now? 20. Excellent. 20 comma 0, not 0 comma 20. Right? So we're going to draw the line x is equal to y first. Let me draw that. X is equal to y. I just go and plot 0, 0 here. Boom. And I go and plot 5, 5 here. Boom. And I draw a straight line going through that, right? Once it busts through them 2 points, and you just go up, right? I miss, but I nothing. We go fix that. Right. Oh, let's see my there. Right. Label your line, eh? So this line would be, all you know, x is equal to y, y is equal to x, same thing, right? Let's draw the next line. So give me the coordinates of one of the points. What was the coordinates of 0, comma? 15. So that's up here. Right? That is 0 on the x, 15 on the y. What's in the coordinates of the next point?
20,0.
That's here. 20 on the x, 0 on the y. Let's show this.
See, I'm going everybody.
Now, way. Yeah, that's where we're wrong. Right. Label this set. What is the equation of this line? 3x plus 4y is equal to 60. Everybody good there? So we want a region that satisfies these two inequalities. So was it x less than or equal to y? Right. No. X is greater than or equal to y is actually underneath this line. Right? Let me show you all. If I plot a point here, what's the value of x here? The value of x would be 10, comma, what's the value of y? 5. So anything under this line, the value of x would be greater than the value of y. You catch it there? Okay? Then the region, this one was what? 3x plus 4y is less than or equal to 6. So that will be under here too. Right? So the two regions are going to meet here. This is my R. Andrew, you get this?
Yeah, I get that.
Some people will put up here, but I'm wrong, eh? Up here, wrong.
See, go back.
Right. So watch it. I put the two inequalities on the side here. The first one was x is greater than or equal to y. Alright? And the next one was 3x plus 4y is less than or equal to 60. So less than for any other line would be underneath here. Anything underneath here would be where 3x plus y is less than 6. Anything underneath here. Alright? Good? And then for x to be greater than or equal to y, it will be on this side of the line. Anything on this side of the line would be x is greater than or equal to y. Everybody get there? Where do the two regions meet, Chiffon? They meet here. Cool? That is where the two arrows meet, you can see. Right? So you observe up here. You realize there's no arrow coming up here. There's no arrows coming up here. So this is not the common region. We'll set on this side, right? So that's how we locate our common region. Talk to me, Andrew. You good there? So the final part of the question is stating the total number of phones is represented by x plus y, right? X represents B flow and y represents C flex. According to the graph above, what is the largest possible value of x plus y? In order to find the maximum value, right, for this expression here, you need to first identify the coordinates of the vertices of the shaded region or the corners, right? So this one here, even though I draw it a little off, the first vertex above here would be what? That would be this point here. What's the first vertex? It would be, we counted in 4s here. Already realize that, right? If from here to here is 5, right? It means every 4 strokes is 1. So you have 20 small strokes in between there. 20 divided by 5 will give me 4. So this will be 6. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Wait, it here, boy. Where it is? Where you again? Check your own now. That's all. Let me check it properly. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. And then 10. What you all looking like? So I'm basically getting in between here. This is my first vertex up here. Alright? To me, it is looking like it is in between the lines. So that'll be in between down here, which is in between 8.5 and 8.75, which will be 8.675. And on this side is the same thing, 8.675. So that's my first coordinate that I'm going to write. Okay? So we want to see which one will give you the largest possible answer, right? So the first coordinate I'm getting is 8.675, right? 675, comma 8.675. And what's the next coordinate? What's this coordinate down here? 0, 0. That's our next vertice. And what's my last vertice up here? What's our last vertice? 20, comma 0. So which two do I add up and I will get the largest possible value of x plus y? Which two? 8.675 plus 8.675 giving me what? And well, 0, 0 definitely out of it. And do 20 plus 0 would be 20. So that'll be greater than 20. It have to be greater than 20.
17.
Well, 20, comma 17.5, right? 35. So therefore, 20, comma 0, right, represents the largest possible value. Is the largest possible value. Just know for linear programming, you're working with the vertices, right? The vertices of this region is very important, right? To finding your maximum or your least amount of phones, right? C-flex phones and B-flex phones, right? Your least amount, your greatest amount is dependent on the vertices of the region. Are we clear? January 2018, number 4 was linear programming this year, right? Draw the straight lines for x. Any linear equation they give you and they want you to draw a straight line, do when x is equal to 0, do when y is equal to 0. Plug that into the equation, find the coordinates of 2 points on the line, right? So let me do that. So this will be, instead of x, what do we put here? Instead of x, we put 0 plus y is equal to 10, so y is equal to 10. What are the coordinates of this point?
0.
Proper. Instead of putting y here, what do we put? X plus 0 would be, what are the coordinates of this point? Proper. Look, I get my 2 coordinates there. I can plot them points, draw that line. Let me do that one time. Plot them points. What's the first one? 0, 10. 0, 10 will be up here. And 10, 0 will be here. Draw a line from here to here. Right? And label it x plus y is equal to 10. You just lose about 2 marks if you didn't do that. So the other line you need to draw will be y is equal to x. Y is equal to x. X is equal to y. It's the same line, right? 1, 1, 2, 2, right? 10, 10. All these points, all these coordinates of these points are on this line. So you can plot any 2 and just draw the line, right, Chiffon? So watch. I go to plot 0, 0, 0, 0, and I will plot 10, 10. Look, 10, 10 up here. 10, 10. Draw that line. Boom. Label it. Y is equal to x. Y is equal to x. Right? Imagine my big sons and them putting this way. My big sons and them. So we completed the first part of this question here, which was to draw these lines. So next they are saying on the same grid, shade the region which satisfies all 4 inequalities here, right? The first inequality will be x is greater than or equal to 0. So where x is greater than or equal to 0 would actually be this line here, right? The y-axis would be the line x is equal to 0, right? So x is equal to 0 is here, so x greater than 0 will be coming in this direction, right? Then we have y is, let me see if it's, this is the line y is equal to 0, right? Y is equal to 0. So then you have the line y is greater than or equal to 0 would be up here, somewhere up in this direction, right? Somewhere up here, right? And then we have x plus y is less than or equal to 10. So you know you're somewhere underneath this line somewhere, right? And then you have x is greater than y. So x is greater than y. Where could you plot a point, right? If I plot this point here, which is 10, comma 5, is x greater than y here? Is the value of x greater than the value of y? Yes. So that means that region would be somewhere underneath here, right? So where all them regions clashing by, right? All them regions clashing underneath here. All the regions are clashing underneath here. Okay? So let me erase all the other noise. Boom, bang, 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 badalang. Underneath here would be my common region. Label it R. Boom. I shall label it in red. R. Boom. Mr. Thomas makes X bottles of juice. How much bottles of juice the man making? X. That's a number, stick down your brain, right? Y cakes and Y cakes each day. Why? Right? To supply his customers, he makes at least 20 bottles of juice. That's a whole inequality right there. So let me deal with that one time as we done read it. Right? So to supply his customers, he makes at least. That word at least, we dealt with it above. If I make it at least 20 bottles, right? Forget what letter going in front. If it's at least 20 bottles, what talking about? Greater than or equal to 20. And if we're talking about juice, which letter represents juice? Look at whole mark right there.
Yeah, I put 20x.
Right? That wrong. Right? 20x is wrong. This is correct, right? So there we go. That's okay. Do something, right? And no more than 15 cakes. So no more than means what? Less than or equal to 15. And what letter represents cakes?
Y.
2 marks, or they just lose there by. Each day, Mr. Thomas uses $133 to make the bottles of juice and cakes. 163, sorry, why I get 33? Right? He uses $163 to make the bottles of juice and cakes. The cost to make a bottle of juice is $3.50. Right? What represents juice again? What letter? So $3.50 for one juice, we have X juices, right? So that'll be $3.50 or 3.5 by X or 350X. Well, 3.5X, right? Plus the cost, while the cost to make a cake is $5.25. What represents the cakes?
Wow.
And he uses $163 each day, right? So if each day uses that, right? It means that the amount that is available for him to spend would be 163 or less. So whatever he spends for that day must be less than or equal to $163, right? Okay? That is my next inequality. Show that on any given day, it's not possible for Mr. Thomas to make 50 bottles of juice and 12 cakes. So that means when I substitute X as 50, X is 50 because X is juice, and Y as 12 into this equation, I will get a number greater than 163, right? That is why it will not be possible. So let's look. So this will be 350 by 50 plus 525 by 12. What we getting here? The man have to use for the day, boy. Since 238 is greater than 163, this is not possible. Question? No. Question? No. June 2020, right? So a farmer plants 2 crops, potato and corn, on a 10-hectare piece of land. So the amount of potato plus the amount of hectares of corn would be less than or equal to 10 because they're planting it on that portion of land. So it's like you have potatoes plus corn is less than or equal to 10. Cool, that's the first inequality there. Then the number of hectares of corn planted, C, must be at least twice the number of hectares of potato. That's like, so, okay. So the number of corn planted, which is C, must be at least. What at least means again? Greater than
Equal to.
or equal to twice the number of potatoes. Talk done. So this is January 2021, right? So they said using a ruler, draw the lines x is equal to a half, y is equal to x, and x plus y is equal to 5. So if I want to draw x plus y is equal to 5, I need the coordinates of 2 points on this line. So I can do when x is equal to 0 and I can do when y is equal to 0. So that will give me, replacing x with 0 here, this will be 0 plus y is equal to 5, y will be equal to 5. What are the coordinates of this point here? It would be proper. Y is equal to 0 here, so this will be x plus 0 is equal to 5. X would be equal to 5. What are the coordinates here? It would be, so let's work, right? Right, so the other two lines here that shows x is equal to a half, vertical line going through where x is a half, and y is equal to x, the most dog food line to join the world. Right, we join, plot 2 points, 1, 1, 2, 2, wherever. Plot 2 points, plot 10, 10, right? Draw a straight line going through those points, right? That's x is equal to y. So let go, 0, 5 would be here, 5, 0 would be here. Let me draw them in red. First line, this will be x plus y is equal to 5, right? X plus y is equal to 5. Y is equal to x. We're going up here. Boom. Oh, what's going on there, boy? Right, that's here. Boom. So this will be y is equal to x. X is equal to a half. This will be a half here. Here's a half, right? So you draw a line from top to bottom going through a half. Right? Boom. Right? Then label this. This will be x is equal to a half. Any more lines? Or is just 3? It's just 3, brothers and sisters. On the grid, label R the region where x is greater than a half. X is greater than a half is coming this way. Right? Coming this way. Greater than a half would be to that side, right? Then y is greater than x, right? If I'm saying y is greater than x, it means wherever I have a coordinate. So let me plot a point there. If I plot a point up here, right, this will be 1, 3. Is y greater than x above the line or below the line? Above the line. So anything for y greater than x would be above here, coming up here. Boom, bang, bang. That is y is greater than x. And the last one will be x plus y is less than or equal to 5. So we're talking about somewhere under this line. Right? So where do all the regions meet? In which place? Does it meet here? Yeah. This is where all the regions meet. Proper. Right? So I can erase all these other arrows here. Boom, bang, 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 bang. How we looking? How we looking? So January 2025, Lisa had has $56 to buy a total of no more than 70 red balloons and green balloons for her party. She buys more green balloons than red balloons, but must buy at least 15 red balloons. Each red balloon costs $0, well, 75 cents, right? And each green balloon costs 50 cents. Let X and Y represent the number of balloons and the number of number of red balloons and the number of green balloons respectively. Write only two inequalities in X and Y other than X is equal to 0 and Y is equal to 0 to represent the information above. Right? Let me analyze this thing. Right? Analyzing time. What's one of the inequalities you could write? Let me help. Come. Lisa has $56 to buy a total of no more than 70 balloons. So that means forget the money for now, right? She cannot buy no more than 70 balloons, right? Well, 70 red balloons, sorry, and green balloons for her party, right? No more than 70 red balloons and green balloons for her party. Red balloons plus green balloons must be no more than 70. Right? So let me write that. X represents red, Y represents green. It must not be no more than, in other words, it must be less than or equal to 70. This is one of the inequalities you can write. Right? We didn't link the money as yet, right? She buys more green balloons than red balloons, but must buy at least 15 red balloons, right? So she buys more green than red. So if I buy more green than red, what's that inequality that can represent that? Right? She buys more green than red. What's the inequality for that? If I must, well, she buying more green than red. What is going to be greater than what? More green. Green is represented by Y. So Y must be greater than X. They did not say greater than or equal to. She just buys more green balloons than red balloons, right? Okay, that's the next one. That's 2. All right, excellent. So they also proceeded to say, but must buy at least 15 red balloons, right? What you said? Whoa, which one you said? These two inequalities are the same, right? So they proceeded to say, but must buy at least 15 red balloons. At least means 15 or greater, right? What represents red balloons again? Which letter represents Y? You sure? X. X is red balloons. Right? So X must be greater than or equal to 15 if she must buy at least 15 red balloons. Cool? Then each red balloon costs 0.75 or 75 cents, and each green balloon costs 50 cents. So the cost of the red balloons and the cost of the green balloons must be no more than $56 because that's what she have. Right? She have $56 and she go down shop. So whatever she spend so this will be 0.75 for the red balloons, right? Is it 0.75 for the red? Right. And then the green balloons would be 0.5 Y must be less than or equal to the $56. Any two of these that you put would be correct.